All right, the next one is kind of based on cold reading, where you make an assumption, you make a statement about her. So you say basically, I can tell that. She was just with her friend. They decided they want to go to Greece. So they flew out to Greece in the next week. It was super spontaneous. What you could say there is an assumption about her, which is very attractive because it shows confidence. And you would say something to the effect of, as I'm talking to you, I kind of get the feeling that you're not held down by like people's expectations or what you should or shouldn't do. You kind of live life on your own terms, don't you? She, of course, is going to agree with that because it's a compliment that's kind of wrapped up in a cold read. But making assumptions, making statements about girls sometimes are even better than asking questions.
The Unapologetic Man Podcast.
Every day I get messages from guys that tell me, I don't know what to talk about with girls. That's why I don't approach them. Today, I am going to give you 7 conversational weapons that flip her attraction on fast. I'm talking really fast, boys. These are conversational topics to get the conversation going, because what do dating coaches always tell you? They tell you to talk about interesting things, elicit emotions, make her laugh. And then they're like, say something funny that makes her laugh. And you're like, what do I say, you idiot? You always tell me to say something funny, but what exactly do I say? You always tell me to elicit emotions in her, get her talking, but what do I say? So few dating coaches actually tell you the how, and that's why I'm here, boys, and I always over-deliver. All right, the first one is to ask her if she's ever done anything spontaneous, especially recently. So you'd say something to the effect of, so tell me, I'm curious about you. What's the most spontaneous thing you've done lately? Or what's the most reckless thing you've done lately? This gets her telling a story, and then you too should have a story on board to tell her about something reckless, spontaneous, or dangerous that you've done lately. This gets you guys relating and carries on the conversation. And again, you could do this pretty quickly. Once again, the conversation has stuck. Once you've gotten to that social hook point where she's invested in the conversation and you're looking for those conversational topics to talk about. All right, the next one is kind of based on cold reading, where you make an assumption, you make a statement about her. So you say basically, I can tell that. So let's say she does tell you about something spontaneous. Let's say that she was just with her friend. They decided they want to go to Greece. So they flew out to Greece in the next week. It was super spontaneous. What you could say there is an assumption about her, which is very attractive because it shows confidence. Only those people who are highly confident are willing to make assumptions about other people. And you can make a cold read, which is basically reading her personality based off this assumption. She's spontaneous. She goes and flies to Greece. And you would say something to the effect of, as I'm talking to you, I kind of get the feeling that you're not held down by like people's expectations or what you should or shouldn't do. You kind of live life on your own terms, don't you? She, of course, is going to agree with that because it's a compliment that's kind of wrapped up in a cold read. But making assumptions, making statements about girls sometimes are even better than asking questions. So instead of saying, do you like weather? You would instead say, when I look at you, I kind of feel like you're more like a beach person. I don't feel like you jive too much with the winter. Is that true? People like it when we make assumptions about them because it feels like we understand them. It feels like you're intuitive, and she feels noticed. She feels heard. All right, the next one, boys, is what's something you're proud of that most people wouldn't guess about you? And I want to ask you that same question. What's something that you're particularly proud of that most people wouldn't guess about you? I know right now you're kind of feeling a little bit excited. You're kind of getting in your emotions. You're maybe hyperextending your vagina a little bit because you're excited to talk about yourself. One thing that I'm pretty proud of that most people would know about me is I'm really good at juggling. I could juggle really well, like just huck balls everywhere and just be juggling them. It's not something a lot of people would know about me, nor do a lot of people know that I could do a wheelie on my bike for as long as I want to. And if somebody asked me that, and if I was in a conversation and they didn't know me, that might get me talking about juggling or doing wheelies or some other stuff that I've done that you've done too that makes us interesting. I mean, you could feel excited about it already, right? If I asked you that question, it immediately gets us into our emotions because what's everybody's favorite topic? Everybody's favorite topic is themselves. Everybody's thinking of WIFM. It's an acronym that stands for What's in it for me? This is exactly what she's thinking when you go talk to her. She's immediately assessing, what's in this for me? How am I going to have fun? And as I've talked about many times on this podcast, women are external validation seekers. They get their state from outside themselves. What they want a guy to do is lead them into a fun conversation that elicits emotions within them. Most guys, on the other hand, just ask, oh, where are you from? Where'd you go to college? Do you like breathing? Which completely bores them to tears. Whereas when you ask these emotionally charged questions, she gets into her emotions, thus getting attracted to you. What's up, brother? Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. To watch the full podcast episode, click here. And before you go, if you're feeling extra generous, please like, comment, subscribe. It really helps me in the algorithm. I'd sincerely appreciate it. Unapologetic Army.